allowed to send troops to the states. This first clip breaks it down with the latest announcement that he's doing.
Chicago desperately needs help. Just look at the crime statistics.
Right now at 11 is the National Guard headed to Chicago, and could Oakland and San Francisco be next? Tonight, more talk of sending federal troops into more cities. Cities, as the president says, need help. But do they really?
As the president makes more plans and threats, California is embroiled in a lawsuit against the Trump administration over the deployment of troops. Could this have an impact on other cities? Here's NBC's Gia Vang.
We may just go in and do it, which is probably what we should do. They need help badly. Chicago desperately needs help.
That was the moment today. The president saying Chicago is likely the next target to send in National Guard troops. They're already in Washington, D.C., and today President Trump signed executive orders to further his efforts to combat crime in Democratic-controlled cities. That includes Oakland. The town's mayor, Barbara Lee, speaking out about it at a Democratic National Committee summer meeting in Minnesota today.
Donald Trump is just downright wrong about Oakland. Like he's wrong about all the other cities that he trashed.
She told the audience violent crime is down 29%, homicides fell 21%, and the rate of vehicle thefts down 45%. Most recently, as last week, the president also suggested troops could straighten out San Francisco.
Now you look at what the Democrats have done to San Francisco. They've destroyed it. We can clean that up, too. We'll clean that one up, too.
San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie responded tonight with what he has said, that in part, safe and clean streets are our top priority, and the results are clear. Crime is at its lowest point in decades. Visitors are coming back, and San Francisco is on the rise. California is still in the middle of a federal lawsuit asking a judge to determine if the president broke a federal law when he sent troops to L.A. in June to engage in civilian law enforcement. That ruling still hangs in the balance, with motions filed just today. A hearing is scheduled for mid-September, and Santa Clara University constitutional law professor Margaret Russell said she doubts there will be a decision issued then. But when there is, she said it all depends how it could impact the rest of the nation.
In terms of precedent, it won't have precedent for those other cities and cases, but they can be parallel arguments in different parts of the country in different federal courts that could then be subject to U.S. Supreme Court review.
What if the Supreme Court takes up this California case? Russell says there are roads that lead to that scenario. She said the decision from the highest court would involve the Constitution, which would then impact the cities that President Trump is threatening to deploy troops in. Gia Vang, NBC, Bay Area News.
All right, come on, we'll let you go first because your state was the first state this year that we sent troops to. What's your thoughts on him sending troops to Chicago, and how did you feel when they came to your state?
All right, so I'm about to put my tinfoil kufi on real quick, and this is what I think we're really doing, y'all. So I looked up the places he's sending the troops to. Crime is actually down, right?
Yes.
But it's hard to get shit passed legislatively, especially due to the Democrats, because when you start talking about illegal immigrants and he's sending feds for the illegal immigrants,
hell break loose.
Oh my goodness. So now he just flowering it up saying crime, which we know is synonymous for Black Americans, right? Easily get the troops in there. Troops gonna be coming in there like, damn, crime over here, but Consuelo over here illegal as fuck. Okay, well, let's do something. Shit. So they gonna start. I'm telling y'all, I think that's what's happening. I don't know if this is true, but that's why I'm putting my tinfoil kufi on, and that's what I think is going to be the long play. This is just an easy way to get the troops in there without having so much pushback from a certain political party.
You're going to see the other clip I'm going to play, Kamal. Your tinfoil kufi hat was right. Okay. Gray, what's your thoughts on him sending all these troops for crime? Do you agree? Do you disagree? And they're coming to our state. So what do you think?
I think Trump is using crime as like a shield. And like Kamal said, it's kind of like towards Black people. And the analogy I'll use is that people fear sharks, and sharks are vaporous. And if you don't know what that means that they hatch the eggs in the mother's uterus. And before, when they come out, sometimes the sharks don't match the amount of eggs that come out. And that's because of cannibalism. So basically, sharks start killing each other before they even are born into the world. And that's how black sharks look. They kill each other in their neighborhoods, and so they're feared because they're like the sharks. And then you got like killer whales and dolphins and fishermen that fear the shark.
Oh man, Mia, that was an interesting analogy. Sharks, whales, tinfoil kufi hats. We got a lot going on. Mia, what's your thoughts? Sorry, I'm sorry. Well, you're making me laugh. What's your thoughts?
No,
I don't think she's there.
No, she said she was. Okay, never
I
mind.
am. I'm here. I'm just listening.
Okay.
I'm going to be honest. I had to step away from my phone and then I came back and all I heard was something about sharks eating their young and you tied it into black people and I was very, very confused. I just like came into the tail end of this conversation. I was like real confused, buddy. Confused.
So, do you want me to explain it?
What type of sharks is it, bro? Is it the great white? Is it the killer whale?
You guys know this? The sharks have a certain breeds of sharks when they have babies. They have the eggs. They don't even hatch the eggs. The eggs are broken up and they are in the uterus, and they eat each other. As soon as they come into the world, they eat each other before they are even hatched into the world. So when you look at black culture and black society, they're killing each other young. So you're going to have other groups that look at them and say, okay, wow, this group, they may not be killing us, but they're killing each other. I don't want them in my community. So fear. What I'm saying is fear. That was my analogy.
Damn.
Mia, are you ready to go? You want me to play the clip? Are you still trying to figure out the shark? You've done ran me away. Jesus.
Mia said bye.
Mia said bye. Okay, I'm gonna play this clip and ready to put the tinfoil hat on now again.
Overwhelmed. I think the federal government is literally out of control.
Now at 5 o'clock, President Trump is planning to send 1,700 National Guard troops to 19 states, including Indiana. The latest step as the Trump administration's nationwide crackdown on immigration ramps up across the United States. Thanks for joining us tonight at 5. I'm Dan Spieler.
And I'm Aaliyah Blackburn in for Beer Shell. Soldiers will start mobilizing in September and will serve as support for federal immigration agents. This comes as several state and county agencies agree to partner with ICE.
Camp Atterbury has also been approved to be used as an ICE detention center, with 1,000 beds also being made available at the Miami Correctional Facility as well.
Fox 59 State House reporter Hannah Adamson explains how the troops are expected to assist and how state leaders are responding.
Starting next month, hundreds of National Guard troops will deploy to help federal immigration officials. Border Czar Tom Homan says the goal is to go after sanctuary cities. But it's important to note most of the 19 states on this list, like Indiana, are red states. Still, Homan says the roughly 5,000 ICE deportation officials spread across the country are in need of backup.
ICE is overwhelmed.
Border Czar Tom Homan says roughly 1,700 National Guard troops will deploy to 19 states, including Indiana, to assist ICE officials.
We got almost 700,000 illegal aliens with criminal history that we're trying to find. So National Guard is their support function. They're a force multiplier.
Homan says the troops will help ICE with transportation and intel, but will not make arrests.
I think the federal government is literally out of control.
State Representative Ed Delaney calling the move a, quote, show of force and a way for the Trump administration to distract from lower than anticipated deportation numbers.
Who wants out-of-state National Guardsmen standing around our street corners doing what? The governor has the option of saying we won't participate. I hope to God he won't participate.
Earlier this month, Governor Braun said Indiana would fully partner with federal immigration authorities. That includes plans to detain hundreds of undocumented migrants at Camp Atterbury and the Miami Correctional Facility.
We're cooperating with ICE here on the worst first.
The mission is expected to last through mid-November. Reporting from Indianapolis.
Mia, all right, we had a good little laugh. I guess you had to go take a break to laugh. What is your thoughts on it appears that the real reason why he's sending troops is Kamal's tinfoil hat thoughts that it's due to ICE. What do you think?
I mean, either way, regardless of what it's due to, it's very unsettling to have National Guard put in that position in various cities all over the country. Tinfoil hat is on, and if you were going to do something crazy, wouldn't you want troops all strategically placed in all of the major cities across the United States if you wanted to control the masses because you wanted to pass potential legislation? I mean, that's what I would do. Why would you not put your own people in all of these various places to subdue protesters and rioters? It just feels very seedy and a little bit sketchy. However, I do understand that if they are there for a positive purpose, whether it's detaining illegal migrants or it's helping with crime, obviously I want all Americans to live in a safe, conducive environment, and no American should live in crime. However, it just feels very, they're going to drop something at the end of the year and they have all of these troops strategically placed all over the United States to tamper down resistance. It just feels like that more than it feels like they're trying to help the general public, because let's be honest, when does the United States government ever really help the general public? They always have an angle and they always want something from us.
Can I say something real quick? Can I start playing like background music for people? Is that okay?
Yeah, I told you you're the sound guy.
All right, Mia, I got the next time we do our conspiracy shit, I got the perfect background music for you. Y'all gonna love it. Watch. Cause I love the conspiracies, you feel me? It reminds me of like, X-Files type of shit. I love it.
Yeah,
You
where's
can call
the
me Agent
sound?
Scully. Checking in for duty.
You're slacking,
Agent
Kamal. You were
Scully.
supposed to play the sounds.
I am slacking. My bad, y'all. I'm sorry.
Oh my God. I'm gonna have
Be
to
crooked, Joe Biden.
You're sleeping on the job. Anywho, Skeptic, what's your thoughts now that the real plan is revealed? Is this the real plan, or is it about crime, or is Mia onto something?
So I see what Gray was trying to say, and I'm going to say this. I think it's interesting. Stop with the sharks. I think it's interesting that they are going after cities that are not even in the top 10 most crime-ridden cities per capita. So like that being Chicago, like my parents live near Chicago. And I'll also say this. So Illinois, Chicago is like on the border of Illinois and Indiana. Illinois is known to have a lot of sanctuary cities. Illinois pays more taxes than it receives federal taxes into the state. Indiana is a poor state. If you know this area, Indiana is poor. So Indiana receives more federal taxes than it pays out. So it makes sense that they want to work with the federal government because they want, obviously, to get those brownie points because they need the money. So to say that it's because of crime is not true. Like the mayor in Oakland was saying, like the Chicago mayor would tell you, why aren't you, if number one, conservatives say that they respect state rights. How are you respecting state rights when the mayor of Chicago is not asking you to come in and help, when Illinois is not asking Trump to come and help with crime? Why are you not going to the states that have the most crime, like Alaska or New Mexico? They have the most crime in the US. Why are you going after these other states that aren't asking you to come in and help? Also, Oakland is not even in the top 10, I want to say, most dangerous cities with the most crime in the US. So it doesn't even make sense from that standpoint. I agree with what Mia was saying. I think that it's a plan to go after those strong cities that could revolt if it is that they wanted to do something. I would also do the same thing. I would strategically place military people to be in those cities where I know this is where they might turn. And Chicago is one of those cities that is a strong, Latin Hispanic city. They have really, really strong community for immigrants and Latinos. So I think that this is being done strategically.
Enzo, what do you think about that? Why is Trump sending troops there? Is it due to crime or due to ICE enforcement?
Next to three things: crime, homelessness, immigration. I agree wholeheartedly with what he's doing. I saw it work in DC. You got the residents of DC thanking the president for doing it. bringing down crime in their city. I mean, you want to talk about a 30-year low. I mean, it was, when you really look at the 30-year low, like a 40% decrease sounds absolutely great. When you look at the raw numbers, there's only 10 murders per year. That was the only difference. I mean, yeah, great job. But when it comes down to what he's really doing, I mean, Chicago is notoriously one of the most violent cities in the United States year over year. They literally call it Chirac for a reason. Let's be honest, guys. And I love the mayor's comments about Trump sending National Guard to Chicago and pretty much instructing the residents there to rise against the National Guard. Good try. Yeah, cool. And then he can actually get away with it legally if they do that by invoking the Insurrection Act. So, I mean, cards are on the table right there. You know exactly what he's going to do, and then you're going to be stuck with them. But when it comes, all right, like I keep saying with this, I agree with it. For crime, for getting the homeless people off the street. I mean, San Francisco is another one. Homelessness is rampant there. And then immigration. Yeah. He said he was going to do mass deportations. They haven't really done that so far. And I say it all the time. I really think that the Trump administration can do a lot better by getting all of these illegal migrants out of the country. I don't agree with any of them. I don't care if you've been here for 20 plus years. You had 20 plus years to at least apply. And then the funny thing is about being here for 20 years, right? It takes anywhere between 7 to 10, let's call it 15, 7 to 15 years to become citizens. So that gives you a 5-year grace period. Why didn't you at least apply? Living off the country. I don't care what they bring in. I don't. They shouldn't be here in the first place. We have laws. Get them all out of here, illegal or not.
Wow. So the question is Trump illegally and constitutionally allowed to send in our troops to do what he's doing? I'm going to play this clip. And it talks about an interesting law going back to the 1800s that answers the question. It's a military act.
What is the Posse Comitatus Act? Imagine a scenario where military forces are called upon to maintain order in civilian areas. This situation raises questions about the balance of power and the role of the military in domestic affairs. The Posse Comitatus Act is a significant piece of legislation that addresses this very issue. Enacted in 1870, the Posse Comitatus Act was designed to limit the powers of the federal government in using the military for law enforcement purposes within the United States. The law prohibits the use of the Army and Air Force to execute domestic laws unless explicitly authorized by the Constitution or an act of Congress. This means that, generally, military personnel cannot be used to enforce civilian laws, ensuring that the military remains separate from civilian law enforcement. The origins of the act can be traced back to the Reconstruction era, a time when federal troops were deployed in the South to maintain order and protect the rights of newly freed African Americans. The use of military forces in these situations led to concerns about potential abuses of power and the impact on civil liberties. As a result, the Posse Comitatus Act was established to prevent the military from becoming involved in civilian law enforcement. There are exceptions to this law. For instance, the National Guard, when operating under state authority, is not subject to the same restrictions as federal military forces. Additionally, in certain emergencies, such as natural disasters or terrorist attacks, the president may invoke specific laws that allow for military assistance in domestic situations. Understanding the Posse Comitatus Act is essential for grasping the relationship between military and civilian authorities in the United States. It serves as a safeguard to ensure that the military does not overstep its bounds and intrude upon the rights of citizens. This balance is vital for maintaining the democratic principles upon which the nation was founded.
So based on that, what are our thoughts? Is what Trump is doing, is it legal? Should it be allowed? Gray, I'll let you go first.
I mean, does it really matter with Trump if it's legal, if it's allowed? Trump is going to do what he wants to do. It's going to go to court. He's gonna get sued. Then we're gonna go through this whole song and dance, and they're gonna say, "Oh well, Trump should have done this." Like, I mean, and with this administration, I don't think it really matters. But I don't know if it's illegal or not illegal.
I just played a clip and explained it to you.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is that like he's able to. He's of course going over and saying the governor is supposed to control the National Guard, so we know Trump is overstepping. So I mean, like, but what you just played, like, is he breaking the law? And if he is, why isn't anybody doing anything?
That's a good point. Kamal, what's your thoughts? Why isn't anybody doing anything?
Because they didn't do shit during Black Wall Street. Government sent bombs at Black Wall Street, and y'all giving me this information? I'm like, oh shit. In 1878, they put this law because the southern states was using federal troops to fight in the Civil War. Damn. So that means the government was on horse shit.
Did I teach you something?
Huh?
Did I teach you something today?
Hell yeah. And we teaching look at this is a teachable panel right now. We're teaching about sharks eating each other. We teaching about money getting burned is illegal, but all types of shit today. This is like
educational channel.
Yeah, this is the Sesame Street panel right now. We teaching y'all some shit. God damn.
My God.
Oh, Big Bird.
Yo, but yeah, it just put in perspective that like at the end of the day, this law or whatever doesn't really get followed. In my opinion, it doesn't get followed.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I just see it as like it's not really getting followed, and I'm just kind of like, we see what's gonna happen down the line. So don't be surprised. I just gave y'all some historical facts, that shows.
That was Skeptic's comment. Skeptic said the sharks. Mia, what's your thoughts? Is this illegal? Is it allowed? What do you think based on that clip and the law?
I mean, the law seems to be geared for it to be allowed. I mean, but I guess if nobody sues him or fights it, then anything is allowed at this point in time. I feel like a lot of people, especially on the Democratic side, are just very beaten down, and a lot of them are probably exhausted, and they're just not wanting to fight anymore. I mean, we are in pretty trying times. I mean, the United States is the brokest it's ever been in the history of our country. In almost 500 years of history, we are the brokest we've ever been. Americans personally are the brokest we've ever been. I mean, it's pretty bleak if you look at a financial standpoint. I mean, we are the unhealthiest we've ever been. I feel like a lot of people are just beaten down right now, and there's nobody to fight him on this, so he's going to keep doing whatever he wants to do. I don't agree. I think all it takes is one nervous serviceman and one shot for more shots to come out. I mean, one of the biggest contributors to soldiers' death is friendly fire. So, I mean, we're not going to pretend like we don't accidentally shoot our own or accidentally have misfires or anything like that. So all it takes is one nervous person, one scared person, one misreading of the situation, and then we could have dozens of dead civilians. For what? That's the question. Like, is that something we're willing to take? Because like I said, all it takes is one shot from one person who's scared, which could be anywhere across the United States. And is that something that we're willing to do? Because
and a lot of these guys are super young, to Mia's point. They're like 18, 19 years old.
Right.
They've never seen combat. They will never see combat. They're actually really not even trained for like these National Guards. They don't go through the same training as the Army. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, I get what Mia's saying. And also, Mia, I looked it up, and they do not have blanket immunity. However, they technically could be protected by qualified immunity if they're in the active duty. So, I mean, to Mia's point, they would be protected at that point. I mean, would that be the start of a civil war? Because that would be my thought. If they accidentally unalive somebody, what would be America's reaction?
Right, because it's all fun and games when it's all fun and games, and then all it takes is one shot from one person, and then next thing you know, I mean, chaos could ensue, and next thing you know, tons of shots have rang out, and then once the dust settles, we could have who knows how many dead Americans who were just utilizing their First Amendment right to protest or to speak up and use their voice, and now they're dead. And then what do we have? So people don't think about the bad stuff that happens. You only think about the good stuff, but we really get to think about all of the angles, because it takes one shot from one person who's scared. That's it.
Enzo, what's your thoughts?
I'm gonna keep saying it. I mean, if we had Democratic leaders actually run their cities correctly and run their states correctly, we wouldn't need any of this. You wouldn't have somebody in here shaking up the entire room, shaking up the entire country, making a fuss. I'm somebody that agrees that cities need to be more safe for everybody. Legal migrants should not be in this country. Whatever Trump is doing until it is challenged, it's completely fine in my eyes. There's nothing wrong. If something does pop off, I mean, then okay, cool. We're living in history. We're gonna learn from it. We're gonna make laws and do things to not have this happen again. We're a country that is 250 years old. There's a lot of things in the Constitution that need to be updated with the times. There are a lot of laws that were enacted over 100 years ago that don't sit with today's society. Things need to be challenged. Things need to be changed. And I'm looking at this as a learning experience, either for the good or for the bad. Because if Trump doesn't do it, then who is going to? Because let's just look at Democratic leadership. They just tiptoe the line and they don't do anything. I mean, it's funny. Trump comes in office and most of the stuff that Trump is doing when it comes down to immigration and burning the flag, you had Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, all of them yelling this in the 90s of what he's doing. Oh, same thing with the tariffs. Same thing with the tariffs. Every single thing Trump is doing is what the Democrat leaders were saying in the 90s to do for the country, which would turn the country around. So it's fucking hilarious to me. There's plenty of videos out there, guys. Google's free.
I mean, the Democrats still got Gavin Newsom. Somebody in the chat said
He is a laughing stock. Hold on, just look at the state of California and then tell me you want that for the country.
I know.
Record unemployment, record